Thanks again for taking the time out for another episode of Make Sense. Today we're talking marketing and sales. Without marketing and sales, there is no dollars and there certainly ain't no cents. We're so happy that joining us today are two marketing and sales experts known at home and abroad in the wider region. And they are Wenrick Clark and Nickolette Eldon. They join us live right after this. And we're back on today's episode of Make Sense, and I am so happy that joining us is Nickolette Eldon and Wenrick Clark. Both welcome to the show. So glad that you were able to join us on Make Sense, talking a bit about marketing. How are you both doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Adrian.
I'm doing well as well, Adrian. Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Great. I know we're going to have an awesome show, both so full of experience, so full of life, and so full of helpful information for all of our entrepreneurs, business leaders, and anyone that wants to get a perspective on marketing. And we'll start right off with our first question. I don't know who's going to take it first, but broadly, why is marketing so important? Why is it so important?
I'm going to yield to Nickolette. Nickolette, you start us off. I'll wrap it up.
Okay, no problem. Thanks. I'll take that hit. I'll take that for the team.
All right.
This question, I loved it. I love that question. I have my own marketing firm, Pulse Marketing. And the reason I chose that name was because I felt marketing is the heartbeat of any business. And I think without it, it's very difficult for your business to survive. It's often overlooked and sometimes underrated, but definitely something, especially small businesses, which is primarily my focus, and entrepreneurs. They often overlook it or may not necessarily have the budget for it, but it's definitely a critical part of any business operation.
I could not agree more. The way I would put it, to add to what Nickolette said, is if you think about marketing, it is the customer's view, how you're able to position your company with your customers so that they have an understanding of what your business is, what it represents, what you have to offer, and how they can benefit from those product offerings as well. So I think marketing plays a very pivotal role and a critical role in the overall health of an organization to ensure that the image and the reputation and all that the company has to offer is on full display for any customer or corporate to want to engage that company for business, as I would add to what Nickolette already mentioned.
Right. And what is so unique about both of your perspective, and we'll drill down into some of the intricacies of your answers and your responses, but I want the audience to know how varied your exposure and experience has been. I mean, we're talking Exuma, we're talking Grand Bahama, we're talking Jamaica, Cayman, Barbados, Trinidad. I mean, the entire region has been touched in one way or another by you both, and in significant ways. How is marketing different among the different countries, territories that you've both presented your talents in?
Well, I'll go first. I'll take this one for the team, Nickolette.
Okay, sure.
I'll put it this way. Having the benefit of working across the Caribbean, you have an appreciation for cultures. Every culture is different and distinct in its own unique way. And there are no two cultures that are exactly the same. So the Bahamian culture is much different from that of the Bajan culture, much different from that of the Trinidadian culture, Cayman, TCI, and so on and so forth. And so I think marketing plays a pivotal role in ensuring that that what the clients see and the way that you're marketing the business ties into the cultural norms in that particular island nation. We are all Caribbean people. We love soca music, reggae, whatever. But we see things visually different. And what we have, I guess if I would call it an appetite for, and the way that we want to see it or have it viewed is completely different. So what appeases or appeals to a Bahamian in a marketing commercial or brochure would not have the same kind of ring in a Barbados market or on a Trinidad market. So I think understanding the cultural norms, understanding your audience, understanding what's going to pique their interest based on that culture and that background is absolutely important, Adrian.
Nickolette, take it away.
I share this. I share the same sentiments. When I transitioned from banking into hospitality, the questions every time I traveled for seminars or what have you, when I traveled on behalf of the company, it was, how do you go from banking to hospitality? And yeah, of course, they're two very different industries, but at the same time, marketing doesn't change. So it's how you package your product and how you tell the story, and like you said, how you marry the culture is what's different about it. So how you tell that story will determine how you are perceived in the market.
Yep.
Just to hone in a bit, I mean, I have to ask, based on a significant exposure to different markets regionally, how would the Bahamas differ from, say, a Barbados, a Cayman, a Trinidad, in terms of how you package? Is it just a deeper dive in what that difference may be? I mean, something that may work here in the Bahamas may not necessarily work in Barbados. What does that mean to somebody that may be interested in launching their product and services outside of the Bahamas?
I think for me, what I observed in the banking world is that specifically our country, I have to be very careful how I answer this question because I don't want to step on any toes, but I think for the most part we are very sensitive and territorial about our country and who we are as a people. So for instance, an ad that I may look at, because never mind the color or shade of my skin, I see through a different color lens, right? So if you're marketing something to me and it has someone of a different hue than me, I accept that. It doesn't prevent me from buying a product. However, if I'm pushing something to a wider audience, putting my face on that would be perceived differently. Wenrick, would you have shared the same experience? Even when we know when the financial institutions transition some of their business operations to other countries, and our home people would get a phone call. They don't welcome that. In other countries, that's welcome. In other businesses that use it, if you call Amazon or any multinational company and you hear a foreign voice, you're okay with that. But if you call a local number and you hear a foreign accent, it's an entirely different, you get a different tone. It's just how we are culturally. So I'm just speaking on the home front. Wenrick, what would have been your experience working in those other jurisdictions?
Listen, I was about to pass the offering plate because you up in here preaching. No, you're absolutely bang on, Nickolette. We are, as Caribbean people, we are very proud people about our cultural heritage. And even me working in the banking industry, and you have ads that would go out with people that don't look like locals. That's a problem.
Right.
It's a big problem, and not just in Barbados. It's a problem all over the Caribbean. So an ad that you have, or even if there is no cultural implication on it, because sometimes you can go to on the side of using cartoonish looking stuff that doesn't really placate to any culture, and that's still a problem, because you want to ensure that there's something that reaches out and grab the people who you're marketing to. And the best way to do that is to ensure that your ad looks like the culture, feels like the culture. And, and of course, because of it, it would be accepted by the culture. Any deviation from that spells problems for your brand, right? And so to Nicolette's point, it is a very serious thing that I don't think, even if you consider it in Bahamian terms, my brother, what appeases people in Exuma don't necessarily appease people in Elutra, right? Because again, even in the Bahamas, we are one nation with many different cultures within, right?
Right.
And so even that has to be, you have to consider when you know, could give consideration to marketing, you know?
Yeah.
So subcultures being very important. There is also a branch of a subculture of marketing, the differentiating factor between, say, marketing and sales. And oftentimes we confuse both roles. What is marketing and what is sales? How do we determine where the line is drawn and why are both important?
Boy, that's a very good question. Let me see how. Let me package it this way. Sales and marketing, it's like hand and glove, right? The two are separate, but one and the same.
Yes.
As a sales professional, I need to ensure that my marketing partners understand my strategy of what is it, the goals that I'm trying to meet, and so that they can ensure that the product or the services or whatever it is being packaged in a way to help me to reach those goals. And from a marketing perspective, marketing needs to be aligned to my sales outcomes so that they're able to track the effectiveness of their marketing, to say, okay, Wenrick, we spent X number of marketing dollars on these ads. What has been have we met our sales quota? Because at the end of the day, if you're spending marketing dollars and you're not generating sales as a direct of those marketing dollars, then you need to start asking yourself some more questions, delving into your organization to find out where the gap is. It is a sales professional, meaning your sales people are not aligned to the strategy, or is it an issue of you're not marketing in the right place? So some companies would go only in the digital space, or only on newspaper, or only on radio. And are you reaching your target audience when you do that? All of those are questions that you need to ensure you're answering and working together to ensure that you're getting your common goal. Nickolette, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'll.
Oh my goodness! You see, I'm very quiet. I mean, I can't even add to that. That's a perfect response, because they're often confused, but they have to work hand in hand. I mean, you can't have two different strategies going in two different directions. They must marry, and one can't work, again, like one can't work without the other. They must move forward in one direction with one vision. So the difference is subtle, but they have to work together. They both have their roles to play, but marketing would drive the sales. Sales, of course, brings in the revenue. But in order to do that, you have to be goal aligned, and sometimes that's where the lines get blurred.
So just speaking about blurry lines here, just a bit, and to kind of tap directly into your responses, the question then is, I mean, what makes a great salesperson? I mean, are salespersons filling customer needs, or are they out there just getting sales targets just to satisfy a job? I mean, how do we're talking about synergy, and we're talking about connecting the dot between sales and marketing. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a person that has that responsibility. And based on the experience, tell me more about that. Let us hear about it.
Well, I think a good salesman, one, absolutely has to be a good listener. I mean, you can't sell a product and not expect to listen and anticipate a customer's need. You absolutely have to be passionate about what you're selling and knowledgeable about what you're selling. You can't sell something you don't know about. You can't sell something you're not passionate about. So I think those are some of the qualities when I was hiring sales executives or salesmen. Those are some of the qualities that I look for in a good candidate. Like, what's your passion? And finally, and Wenrick, I know you're going to love this term, you got to be a hunter.
All right.
Right. And if you're not passionate, you can't be a hunter. You got to be out there looking for food. And finally, just crossing over, because I know Wenrick has a lot to say about that. Right. But a bad salesman is somebody who's just, and this, ooh, you want to irk me? One, stay at your desk and not be on the road, you really want to get me irritated, stay at your desk, because I think sales is all about connecting with people, building relationships, being out there, putting yourself out there, not sitting at your desk. But also somebody, and when I start talking about irritating, I'm also referring to me as a customer. The last thing I want to do is somebody to attempt to push their product off on me without knowing exactly what it is I need, or without listening. Especially like if you walk into a department store and they just come at you, hold on, give me a chance to look, just give me a moment and then come to me. And so those are some of the qualities that I would look for in a good salesman. Wenrick, take it away.
Nickolette, I don't even know what to add to that, because that was a perfect answer. I think you embodied the heart of a sales professional. You clearly understand sales. When Adrian asked the question, I was salivating. Now the salad is gone, because you took care of that thing, man. The only thing I would add, because I think you captured it perfectly, is that I think great sales professionals do all that Nickolette just mentioned, and they create an awesome experience for their client, so that particular client is able to go out and tell the story about what they experienced with that particular sales professional, so that now word of mouth starts to put that individual in demand to, for other persons to want to do business with them. And then you start to create your own personal brand as a sales professional as well. So everything that she said, and just that, I'll just add in that client experience bit of just ensuring that when that person interacts with you, that you are just blowing them away, because that's where that you encourage people to spend that extra dollar with you, because
exactly.
Man, that was wow, you just blew me away. So I'm a customer for life. And that's how your company is able to sustain revenue, by virtue of having those repeat customers come back into your business. Yeah.
And people don't want to feel like they're being sold to. Like even, we have terms like upselling, cross-selling.
Yep.
They don't want to feel like you're just, offloading a product or service on them. So one, like what you said, making those connections. And I can't connect with somebody if I'm not delivering that exceptional service and experience.
Wow. I would love to be on the side of you to interview for sales professionals in the future. I think we would make some fantastic decisions.
I'm a beast when I'm interviewing my sales people.
Listen to me.
Because I take that so seriously. Like, don't come selling me a dream.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot of synergy happening here right now on the show, live and indirect. But here's the thing. We talk about revenue. We talk about the difference between marketing and sales, but we have to pay for it. And it does appear that particularly with newer businesses, the marketing budget is the first to get cut. Or you will see a new business come out and the marketing game is tight. I mean, you just get hit in the marketplace with a splash. And then over time, it fades away. Even during this pandemic, we're talking about COVID-19 and the impact that it's had on most people's revenue. Marketing may be squeezed in terms of budget, but for the benefit of our audience and budding entrepreneurs and other marketing professionals, what does if you had it all, a great marketing budget look like? And what are the components of a great marketing budget?
I think this is definitely more of a question for Nickolette, because this is definitely her wheelhouse. I'll just start it off, and I'm going to kick it over to you, Nickolette, because this is your wheelhouse for sure.
Sure.
In my experience, I'm normally on the other side, because I'm the sales leader that have to work with marketing partners to ensure that the marketing spend is the right spend, and that we're doing it in the right areas that's going to bring us return. What I would say, though, is the businesses out there, you can't expect return without investment, right?
Right. My God.
I know sometimes we want to cut costs in certain areas that we may not see or deem to be essential or necessary, but I cannot stress enough how important marketing and a marketing spend and a marketing budget is to ensure the long-term success and viability of your business and the health of your business as well, because we have to understand that the health of your business and your brand is not just tied to the actual premise that you occupy, or just your website. It's tied to what the clients think and feel about your brand as well. And marketing has a significant role to play in brand loyalty, brand recognition, you know, the various ways you can access the brand. So in all things that you do, and all budgets that you cut, I would say to ensure that you leave in place a budget to have your marketer, the marketing individuals in your firm, or a marketing company like Nickolette's, to position your company for success beyond the hardship that you're facing, that you're currently facing, because COVID is not going to be here forever. You don't want people to forget about your business during COVID. So then how do you reinvent yourself during a pandemic? And then speaking with a professional like Nickolette will help you to start to think about business differently, so that you're marketing in a differentiated way. Not stop, but do it in a differentiated way. Now, this is not my wheelhouse, so I'm going to hand over to the subject matter expert to take us forward.
I'm looking for a tambourine. I have my mask here. This is my tambourine, man. Get something away. But Wenrick, you hit the nail on the head. Most businesses, Adrian, even big corporations, the minute they start squeezing, and I've been through a few rodeos where budget cuts have happened, where I've had a beautiful fat budget, and then 3 months in, hey, we have to revisit that budget. We have to look at it and see where we can tweak, and then you I mean, it's the first thing that goes, and I'm like, how does this happen? And because there are people making these decisions, and I'm talking about from the corporate side, they're making the decisions in a boardroom, and without any feedback from marketing, right? Of what are the implications when we pull this back? How is that going to affect revenue? But the only thought is, well, we don't need to advertise right now. Let's cut that, just slash and burn. And I think it is the worst mistake any company can make. On the contrary, when you talk about small businesses, they have a passion, they have a product to sell, and they come to me, and I had someone reach out to me, and how can you help me market my business? And I say, you know, I can do wonders for you. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying there are options available. Let me make that clear. So my first question is, what's your budget? Oh, I don't have that. Okay, so that's the fundamental problem that some businesses face with just not even considering a market budget. And then there are those folks who now, with the way the digital age is moving, now everybody's the expert in the subject matter, right? Because, man, I just got to put it on Facebook and we straight. But there's a strategy, and I found in my professional life, as well as with my business, you have to be nimble. I have revisited my marketing strategy, I don't know how many times this year, due to COVID. So what I would have put in place, say in November, with making plans for January 2020, that plan has shifted. You have to move with the times, and what you thought you may have been doing, now you have to revisit that, and now, yes, budgets will be restricted now. So how do you get creative with what resources you have? And those resources are available, and it's not a blanket approach. So what may work for this business may not work for this business, which is why it's a good idea for an entrepreneur to sit down and have a discussion. And I tell people, I give that advice free. So my advice in this time right now is to be nimble. But that budget is so critical, and you can't have a marketing budget and not tie into a sales budget. And that's a whole different topic, because those sales budget is tied to revenue targets. And again, that also has to be nimble given our current economic climate.
Yeah.
So
No.
I said a lot, but I think it's important during this time, despite what we're going through, to always remain top of mind. And that's what's important. That's my key takeaway.
So I took the nimbleness away, and I took the fact that you always have to have a marketing strategy. And that leads right into the next question. And that's because marketing yesterday versus marketing today has presented new vehicles of marketing, some very inexpensive forms. We have smartphones that are able to reach an audience in a drop of a second. Platforms like the one we're on now, YouTube, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's an array of different mechanisms to reach people, and the cost may not be as onerous as, say, going on television or taking out radio ads or newspaper ads. So how has marketing changed today versus yesterday? And do you find that you need to have a blended marketing strategy given the new tools, or do you stick to a particular strategy that works based on the market that you're going after?
Well, I think understanding your target market is the most important thing. It's what's essential right there. I mean, you can't, like I said previously, it can't be a one size fits all approach. And if what I like about the digital age is you do have the opportunity to reach a whole new demographic. But at the same time, I wouldn't discount traditional marketing as well, because when you think of age and who you're trying to target, then not everybody's on social media. I mean, my mom is 72. She's on the Facebook. I saw it on Facebook. So it's gospel, right? So I may be able to reach her. But what about, there's some teenagers who are not on Facebook. So which platform are you going to reach out to them? So it just depends on what your product is. But again, it comes with having a proper strategy, knowing who your target market is. And like I said, you may have a product, but knowing who are you targeting? What problem are you solving with this product determines who you will market to and how you will market to them. The beauty of technology is, of course, you can do some boosted ads on social media. You don't have to spend a fortune on print media or on TV where it's excessive. I mean, there's some people who can afford that, but for those who can't, I'm grateful over the years how I've seen technology evolve, that we have these mediums available to us.
So I definitely agree with Nickolette. I believe that depending on who your audience is, you would definitely use a tool that would be a medium that they're using. I don't feel that in marketing there's such thing as a kind of one size fit all approach to marketing. For some companies, the more mature companies, if I can call them that, you are going to need to have a multi-layered approach to marketing where there's print, there is television, there's social, there's all these other things going on, because you would have clients that span all age brackets, and not just age brackets, but demographics from income perspective. You're trying to target cross section. And to Nicolette's point, if you're more in a niche market, then you would want to know, where are my clients? Where are they spending the majority of their time? And there are ways to find that out, right? There's research that you can do, again, through a company like Nickolette. I'm gonna sending a lot of business your way. So through the kind of work that she can help you as that's her field, can help you with researching, or just maybe she has it on hand to say, that demographic, they're here. This demographic, they're everywhere. So you need to spend a little bit in all these areas, right? And so I think that approach works very well by understanding who the clients are, where they are, how much time they're spending on those platforms to understand where then should I spend my marketing dollars to give me the greatest return based on where my clients are hanging out,
Right.
Well, with all this information, though, and given your, again, I fall back on the word exposure to so many different industries and regions. I mean, where do you see businesses go wrong? I mean, is it just not in having an adequate budget? Is it just underestimating the value of marketing and sales? Where are most of our businesses going wrong, just based on your anecdotal awareness?
I'll say this: having been in various markets and understanding now, especially even living in Barbados, that a lot of the businesses that I see, even in the Bahamas, some of them are headquartered here, or headquartered in Trinidad, or headquartered in Jamaica, or headquartered somewhere else.
Is that shades?
I ask myself some questions, right? And this is the thing. I think there's a coinage or saying, Adrian, go big or go home. I think sometimes we can get in a headspace of what I have is enough. It has its place, but if you have a global mindset going into business with the premise that a small business today is a big business tomorrow because every big business was once a small business, then you understand the whole idea of incremental or substantial growth. And what then does it take for that to happen? Yes, there may be acquisition, there may be mergers, whatever it may be. But even with all of that, marketing has a significant role to play in bringing all of that to life. So a lot of people, I think, go into business, I rent a spot and I throw up my sign, boom, I good. Nope. No, you're not.
Right.
Or hey, I'm downtown, Bay Street, boom, location, I good. Nope. No, you're not. Or well, I throw up my business in the mall. Well, hey, I got foot traffic.
Right, foot traffic, right?
No, you're not. So all of that, there's so much that we have to give consideration to. So I personally think that, and I'm speaking now to my home folk, I would love to see more of our companies that are in that maturing stage of their development start to think more global in mindset, but understanding that in order to do that, marketing and some other things, strategic planning and whatever else is a lot to do with it.
Research.
But marketing plays an essential and pivotal role in helping you to grow your business and scale, right? There should be no business owner that should be satisfied with your whatever size operation. Think growth, exponential growth, and how can marketing, I'm just saying, it plays a big role. So that's my view, Adrian. I'll kick off to Nickolette.
Well, all I'd add is you gave a great analogy about, I just throw a sign up and I open, right? But it's understanding your target market. We talked about that earlier. It's the lack of research. You have to do some research. You just said, okay, we go in downtown. Oh, location. But what if your target market isn't downtown? Okay, you're going in the mall, but is that the demographic you're trying to reach? Is it more viable for you to be in a mall, or should you be on the side of the road? I mean, you have to put some thought and research into all of these things before you put that sign up on the door or determine where your location would be. Did you do a feasibility study? A traffic study? Like what research did you do that determined whether you're going in the mall, downtown, or somewhere else? Let's say Carmichael Road, City 2000. No strategy in place. You talked about the strategy. So for me, it's don't see marketing as an expense, see it as an investment.
That is very true. Cost versus investment, a very real factor in business. And you've already given out so many golden nuggets and tips, but I want to kind of feature in this segment your tips. I mean, like when as whether it's from a mindset that you have when you approach marketing and sales, or is it something that you see that can be improved in terms of efficiency in marketing out there in the space that you're in? What nuggets would you leave with the audience that maybe their wheels may be turning about marketing and want to hear directly from the experts themselves? What say you?
I'd say know your customer, know who your clients are, know them well, treat them well. Ensure that everything that you do is geared towards their overall satisfaction. I'll say also know your competitors.
Ooh.
Know them well.
Woo.
Study them. Ensure that you are doing everything to annihilate. No, I'm just. I'm not annihilating nobody. I little cruel, right? So I come to annihilate. But no, know your competitors. Understand your competitors' strategy. Understand what about what your competitors are doing that's winning and causing them to grow and be successful. And the way that the world works is, what you see, and from that perspective, if it's working, find a way to incorporate, right? I think that a lot of times we figure, well, that's what they're doing and it's working for them, but I want, whatever. But man, listen, I mean, if you think about what's going on in the world right now with Amazon, with Facebook, with some other, Microsoft, whatever it is, they continue to grow and expand because they understand us better in some cases than we understand ourselves. And they know their competition better than their competition know their own business and their own business strategy. So to be the best in this space and to ensure that you're kind of setting yourself apart, you have to know your client, know your competitors, build a strategy that's going to be able to help you to grow your client base, and in a lot of ways, eat away at your competitors' client base as well. That's business. It's the world that we live in, and you have to be okay being in that headspace in order to grow your own business, right? Or the company that you're working for, if it's not your own, as well. So it's that kind of not killer like kill, but killer instinct, and that killer mindset to say, hey, let's go, let's get it. Let's ensure that we're covering all of our bases to give our company the best opportunity to be the most successful company in whatever space you're occupying. Nickolette.
Yes, oh my goodness. Again, I'm looking for my tambourine. But for me, I think you're speaking it. We have to stop thinking and being a prisoner to our own space. We have to change our mindset. I mean, our country is reshaping, and we don't know how certain decisions will affect us, but we have to prepare for a global mindset and think beyond our shoreline. Like, how can this product work in another jurisdiction if I wanted to grow it there? But constantly reinventing yourself and reinventing your product to how do you stay cutting edge? And I'm speaking more from a small business. As you can tell, based on the tone of the entire conversation, my heart is with small businesses because I want to see them thrive. And the way I see things moving, Bahamians are more, they're more accepting of small businesses and wanting to support their own. And I do something on Instagram like almost every Saturday, Small Business Saturday. Support a small business. Help support your own. And I think right now, the way the world is moving, I want to be able, if Wenrick has a product or Adrian has a product that, okay, you're selling bow ties or socks, right? Why should I go?
Pieces, Adrian.
Yeah. So why should I order from a global company where it's mass produced when I could come to your home or your storefront and know that this thing is made by hand, that real hands touch this, and that I'm supporting you, but by extension, I'm supporting a dream. I'm supporting a family that I'm helping out, and I can connect with you. I can't connect with some mass produced product made somewhere in the world. So now, how do I make this product better? How can I now export my product? And I think it's always staying on top of your game. And like you said, I mean, you said it really well. Have a strategy. Annihilate the competition. We've been in the financial sector. We
Yep.
know
We know.
it is what it is. So that's just the way the world is. But always trying to find a way to improve your business, I think, is really the key there. And also, even if you have a large corporation, a business, that still remains the same. You have to figure out how to annihilate the competition. How do you get on the cutting edge? Where can you edge out the competition? I mean, that's just business. So that's
okay
what.
with it. Be okay with it.
And be okay that okay, Wenrick is doing marketing, I'm doing marketing. Okay, that's fine. There's a piece of the pie for all of us. I don't have to go and cut his throat.
Exactly.
No, but what can we do if we even come together and share ideas? I mean, we become a powerhouse.
Yep.
And I think once we begin to adapt that mentality, we'll get much further ahead.
Well, listen, I've heard the word annihilate so many times today. I don't even know what to say. But I've also heard the word research and growing the pie, which I like. Very, very softer term, much softer terms. But I know the cutthroat part of business is an absolute, it's just part of the whole territory. But listen, I know for a lot of our audience that are listening in, the word research invokes another emotion, and that is, how can we reach you if we wanted to research the best methods and get a streamlined approach to our specific circumstance as an entrepreneur? To the extent that you can, Wenrick, where can people find you? And Nickolette, where can people find you?
Well, I'm very active on LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn platform. So you can connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Wenrick Clark, Wenrick, Clark with an E. Open to connecting. I don't have to know you to connect. And I'm also on Facebook. I'm also very active on that platform as well. That's more personal stuff. But I'm still there, again, at Wenrick Omar Clark. And so, yeah, if you have any questions, you just want to chat on LinkedIn, or just have a conversation over virtual coffee, I'm happy to do so. I'm trying to recover from coffee drinking, but for the right reason, I'll be happy to drink a cup of coffee with you. But yes, I'm absolutely open to connecting and helping in any way. Like Nickolette said, I think the small businesses in our country definitely are the ones who need a lot of help and support. And I definitely want to encourage individuals out there that's going to be listening to this broadcast to support a small business in your community. The small businesses are indeed the lifeline, the heartbeat of our communities. They are what keep our communities together. So many people depend on them for employment. They are indeed, for a large part of it, the fabric of our society that holds the economy together. And so I certainly want to join Nickolette in saying, please, please, please support a small business near you. But that's how I can be reached. LinkedIn, Facebook.
Oh my goodness, you are a character. I can also be reached on LinkedIn. It's Nickolette Eldon, and that's Nickolette, Nikolette, and Eldon, Elden, not On. And I can be found on LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook, Nickolette Eldon, but I also have Pulse Marketing on Facebook. But Instagram is where it's at. So I'm on the IG at Pulse Marketing Bahamas. So you can. No, I was saying, feel free to connect with me. You can connect with Wenrick over coffee and connect with me over tea.
All right, coffee and tea. There you have it, folks. You're covered.
Oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to just sit back and facilitate such an engaging and informative discussion with two marketing experts. Thanks so much for having spent your time with us, and we do appreciate the episode that will air very, very, very soon. Please don't forget to like, click, subscribe, share, and also be safe and support a small business. So thanks again for joining us on Make Sense, part of the RBNTV family. We'll see you very soon for another engaging episode.
You're watching RBNTV. We are networking, promoting, we're scoring points for you, proclaiming, declaring, here to encourage you. No matter the problem, we will enlighten you. We hear you, please listen.